Hi everyone, Kathy from Kathy's Vegan Kitchen, and today we're making my famous corn chowder. And what makes this corn chowder different is we grilled our corn, and it has a couple secret ingredients that just take this soup to a new level. It does have a lot of ingredients, but it all cooks in one pot, and it's kind of simple because you just cook it all together. It's not a big deal, but you do have a lot of chopping to do. Again, I suggest you get a vegetable chopper. Everything, you can chop it all the same size. I use the bigger chopper for the potatoes. We have kale here. We have a ton of ingredients, so we'll talk about what everything is. First, we're going to start with 3 cloves of garlic, and I am going to start them sizzling in this nice soup pot. And we're going to add 1 white onion, also diced, and 4 ribs of celery. And we're going to wait for that onion to get translucent in that pot. Couple minutes. We have 1 tablespoon of ginger that's ground or minced up or grated. This is a game changer in this soup, and it just gives it a lot of flavor, and we're going to put that ginger in there to cook up with that celery and onions and garlic. I have a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of cumin, and we're going to put that in there. And the celery and the onions give off a lot of water, so you really shouldn't have to add any vegetable broth. It's not sticking to the pan at all. And then we're going to add 3 baking potatoes that I peeled and I cut into cubes using the large blade of the vegetable chopper. If you want to leave the skins on the potatoes, you can. I did not this time, but you can do that. And then Paul and I found this beautiful corn at the farmer's market, the last of the summer corn, and it was organic. So we bought it and we grilled it for 10 minutes, corn on the cob, and then I cut it off. Now this is 5 ears of corn, or 3.5 cups of the corn that's off the husk or off the cobs. And if you don't want to grill your corn, you don't have fresh corn, you can use canned corn or you can use frozen corn. Either way, you do not have to cook it before you put it in the soup because it will cook inside the soup. So we're going to add the corn, and I reserved 1 cup of corn to use after the soup is cooked as garnish for a topping. And then we are going to add 4 cups of vegetable broth. I am using the low sodium version. There's 4 cups in this box, so I'm just putting the whole box right in here. And you're going to notice that it just barely covers the top of the soup contents. I'm also going to stir in a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, and our other secret ingredient is lemongrass. And lemongrass comes in a stalk, and you cut it in half to release its flavor. If you can't find a lemongrass stalk, I found it at Whole Foods. If you can't find that, they also have lemongrass that's in a paste, and there's an alternative for the amount in the recipe. But you're going to remove that lemongrass after it cooks. So we're going to bring this soup to a boil. I have 1 pinch of red pepper flakes I'm going to pop in there also. And then we also have 2 cups of kale. We also have 2 cups of plant milk. And we have corn, limes. We also have some Roma tomatoes. And I picked the Roma tomatoes. We have a cup of those because they have less seeds and they're less juicy. I wanted them more intact. We also have chives. And we have cilantro to garnish with. But we're not going to add those until after it cooks. So right now, we're going to bring this to a boil. And then we're going to cover it for 20 minutes and take it down to simmer. And then we're going to add the other ingredients, and I'm going to give you an option to make it a creamy soup versus more of a chunky soup. So we'll be back as soon as it cooks for 20 minutes. Okay, we're back. It cooked for 20 minutes and it's all ready to go. First thing you need to do is you need to pick out the lemongrass stalk, and I cut it in half. So I think there's like 2 or 3 pieces. Yeah. So we need to, all of it, well, there's actually 4 little pieces. So we need to make sure we take all of those out. Now, at this point you have a choice. You can add these 3 ingredients, which is the plant milk, 1 cup of the Roma tomatoes and the kale, or you can make a more creamy soup, which we're going to do just to show you that there's an option. So you're going to take 2 cups of the soup that's here, and we're going to put it in the blender. Now you need to be very, very careful when you're using hot stuff inside a blender, because what happens is you're going to blend it, it gets really hot, and you got to be careful when you remove the top. So you don't want to use a small blender for this. You want to use a large blender cup because you do not want to burn yourself. Just until it's blended, just a couple seconds. All right, so we're going to just blend this up real quick and done. Okay, now I'm telling you, you need to be careful. You need to give it a little bit. Paul's going to do it for me. See, you get a little vent. Okay, so you need to vent it a little bit so see how hot it is. Or you can be really good and let it cool, but I'm not patient enough for that. So we're going to add that back into the soup. You want to scrape all the sides down. You don't have to do this. You can eat it exactly the way it was. This is just a creamier component, or a way to do it. Okay, now what we're going to do, it's super hot. We're going to add 2 cups of plant milk, unsweetened, unflavored. I picked oat milk. You can pick any type of plant milk you want. You're going to turn your heat back on. Just make sure it all heats back up. I have 2 cups of chopped kale I'm going to add, and it's just like spinach. It'll wilt when it's combined with the hot ingredients. And then we're going to add 1 cup of the chopped Roma tomatoes. Now, let's just say, oh, I don't have any fresh tomatoes. What can you use instead? You can use a cup of diced canned tomatoes. That's fine. There's lots of substitutions that you can use. Now, if you want a smokier component, which I like the smoky component, we are going to add.
Careful, you're.
What? What?
You're right.
2 teaspoons of liquid smoke. You don't have to do this. I just like the smoky component, so I'm going to do that. And we're going to bring this all to a boil again. The flavors in this soup, I know I always talk about flavor, but with that lemongrass that we pulled out and the ginger, it's a different kind of a corn chowder, something that's kind of unique. And honestly, it's just, the flavors are incredible. There are a lot of ingredients, but they're kind of simple ingredients. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of this corn back in, probably half of it, because we're going to use the rest as garnish, because I made the creamy component. I want a little more chunky corn in there. Let me get rid of this. And then we're going to serve it up. And of course, my spoon's going to get stuck for you because, you know, it's not a perfect world. All right. So we have a bowl. And we're going to add some of the corn chowder. Into the bowl. And then grab a paper towel like I always do. Clean that off. Okay, so you're going to add a little corn to the top. You're going to add some chives to the top, and some cilantro. Now, if you're somebody who tastes soapiness when you taste cilantro, don't add the cilantro. And I serve with a lime or two on the side, but I'm going to squeeze them in because I'm going to eat this bowl and I like the lime. And here you have the best corn chowder you've ever tasted in your life. So thanks for visiting today. I hope you enjoy the soup recipe and I'll see you next time. Bye.